I am Heather Embry, Associate Broker with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate in Falls Church, Virginia. And today I am lucky enough to have David Gigliotti with Carbide Construction Company to discuss modular building. So thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you for
We
having
just
me.
met today. A little short history is I have 2 yellow labs who are under the age of 3, and I have to walk them about 2 miles every morning for them to be obedient enough for me to maintain. And I walk by a house in our neighborhood in Falls Church, and Carbide has a sign out front because they're going to be doing a modular building. And I thought, modular building? I haven't heard of that in a long time. If you've been around long enough, you may have heard this referred to as prefab, which was always a negative connotation. But it's no longer that. It's come a long way, and one of our neighbors is getting a 2-story modular addition put on the back of their home. And I thought, wow, if other people knew about this, then, you know, in our area right now, inventory is like at a, almost historic low. So if you're having frustrations finding the home you want and you can't afford to tear down and or buy a lot and tear it down and build new, this might be an option for you. You can buy a smaller home and simply throw on a modular addition. So
Absolutely.
It was great to have David here today. So tell me a little bit about Carbide first. I want to hear about your company and how you started.
All right. Well, I go back quite some time. As a kid, I did this. This is true. My dad was a DC policeman, and he did this as a hobby and built the house that they currently own, another couple of houses when I was in college, and then it just evolved from there. I've been in construction my whole life, decided to go into college, and I mean when I was doing this stuff. So at high school, I was a very skilled person in my teens.
Nice.
So that's kind of how it all got started. And 3 brothers formed the company with another guy who was with us for a short period of time. Long story short, for 28 years, we were 3 brothers, and believe it or not, now we're down to just me. My older brother passed away, and my other brother has retired. So it's me and Adam now. And
now, is Adam your son, or?
Adam, actually, he was kind of a son, but no, he's actually a very close friend of my oldest son. They went to Virginia Tech, and he's actually a civil engineer.
Wow, that's nice to have on staff.
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of cross related items that we deal with.
Now, did Adam push you to do this?
Oh, he totally gave me the go, Mr. G. He calls me Mr. G. Yeah.
Okay.
He said, yeah.
I kind of got that sense that he was behind the motivating factor for you
Yeah.
agreeing to do this
Well,
with me today.
I think you got all your emails from him, so yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
that was the indicator there. So, like I mentioned, I've actually been, I'm second-gen realtor, so I've been doing this officially for 30 plus some years. I hate saying that because I just feel so old when I admit that, but back in the old days when was it Ryland who did a lot of modular building, and you could always tell because the swirly ceilings and the lower ceilings and that kind of thing. And so I think when people think prefab or modular, they have that thought still stuck in their head. Yeah. And I know it's not the same anymore. So tell me what the difference is now.
Well, basically there are none. I mean, the features, construction methods, everything are at stick build and sometimes better. We always say that there's a lot more wood in a modular house because they got to ship it down the highway. And so there's some extra pieces of wood, some adhesives, and a lot of that. But really and truly, there is no difference. The one thing is we can't send too big a piece down the road, and that's I think that's like a federal thing. We always say it's the 15.9.
15.9?
15 foot 9 inches wide, and I guess you could say that's a limitation, but technically it's not because we can just manipulate boxes to fit anything. But really and truly, it's best to think of it as a stick build.
So is the ceiling height still low, or you're able to
No,
get
I mean
high?
our standard is 8. You can go 9. You can do 10 on the first floor.
Wow.
You can't do 10 on the second floor because of roofs that flip up and down.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, it's a little more technical, but there is this, that's the whole purpose of modular. Everything's kind of put together at the factory, and you flip it up and it becomes this nice, cool house. But that's the only reason you can't do 10 foot on the second floor, because when it comes down the highway, your height's going under bridges and stuff. really. That's,
Sorry, that would be such a bummer to lose half your house on
Yeah,
the bridge. But
yeah.
well, I'm looking forward to seeing when you guys get to that stage.
Absolutely.
You have to keep me
Love to
updated
have
so I
you.
can get over there and take some
I
photos
will.
from the street. I promise I won't go in the construction zone. It's funny, when we renovated our home many years ago, we had neighbors just wander into our yard all the time.
Well,
And I promise I won't be that
well,
neighbor who
you're,
does.
You're going to be more than welcome, because when we do these, the crane is like a radar. It just,
Oh my
people
gosh.
just see the crane and it looks massive next to the
Oh.
house. So there'll be people there.
Well, while you're there, can you pull down a few trees? And
Well,
joking.
we try not to do
You got
that.
your specialty there. So, what are the benefits of modular building over stick per se? We're called stick built because I just mean they're building it on site as opposed to in a factory.
Well, one of the biggest is time.
Okay.
Your permit process and the like is the same, but when you're talking about destruction to the house, it is much smaller. It's,
Yeah.
It's
So on average, like a new build could
That's a good
take
question.
or an addition, framing it in per se, could take what, 3 months or so. So how much time does it take to do because you need to do the foundation work still.
Yeah, that you still have that as the same, whether it's stick built or not. But I guess it's better to look at my second story additions. They're a little more what we do. But for instance, we tear off the roof on a Monday, and by the Friday, your house is there and waterproof.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So that's really quick. Now, there's some stuff that's done structurally to the house, but that's kind of incrementally done, before we actually rip off your roof. But that gives you an idea of time. I mean, you can get into that house. Those bathrooms are finished. I mean, that's how.
Painting and tile work and everything?
Well, I always tell people, think about being in a bathroom. The day we lift it off the trailer and put it on your house, if you can connect the water that same day, which we've done it the next day, you can use that bathroom.
That is awesome.
That's how done they are.
Okay, now I'm really excited, and I'm a little frustrated that I didn't know about modular building when we did our renovation, because the only time I cried was when they ripped the roof off, and it had been a very dry summer. But the minute they ripped the roof off, we had pouring torrential rains, and they had the tarps and everything up. And my husband called and said, we need to get some towels or some buckets or something. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Walmart. I picked up a bunch of towels, a bunch of buckets. I walked into our living room. We didn't need buckets. We needed like a pool to catch all this water. It was just coming down everywhere. So anyway, that's the downfall to having stick bill, I guess. And of course, it was a weekend, so they weren't coming back till Monday. But so with the so does it save money as well? I mean, I know it saves time, obviously, but what about money?
Well, they say time is money.
That's
true.
true.
Some people, one of the bigger things of saving money is having to leave your house. You do not have to leave, even when I'm doing my second stories.
Really?
You might migrate to the basement for a few days and stuff, but absolutely, you get to stay there. So, you're leaving the house, and rental costs are saved. But typically, we are less expensive than a stick build, top to bottom.
Great. Well, and it is an inconvenience, particularly to find short-term rentals nowadays, with even rentals
Never
being.
thought of that.
Yeah, well, even rentals are in high demand in our area. So we lived with my mother-in-law for 9 months while we framed in the house, and
Oh, good.
I don't recommend that. My mother-in-law was lovely. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound that, just different lifestyles. So. So does the homeowner design the addition? I mean, is a conceptual floor plan typically included in the build cost?
No, design is typically outside of the build cost, but we do custom. When you're doing one of these projects, you have to get the dimensions to fit an existing structure. Sometimes the existing structures aren't square, but we have ways of getting it all to work. But long story short, we start off with the design, and yes, the customer is the one who basically comes up with it. I have a team that has been doing my designs as long as I've been doing it, CAD Works. And so yeah, we start with that and get the conceptuals, basically what you are looking to do to your house. We'll get that all down, and then we'll send it up to the factory for them to transfer it into modular and whatnot.
So I was just thinking, you do two-story additions, but can you put that on top of a built-out basement, so
Yes.
it's a 3-story?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
That adds to the cost, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Take out.
One of the bigger things is the dirt moving. That can add a good bit. But basements are definitely, more expensive than a crawl space. But
Yeah.
it's a matter of, what you want to do with your new space.
Yeah, yeah. So, where are the modular units built? Are they built locally or?
No. They're built in Liverpool, Pennsylvania. I use a company called XL Homes. They've been around for a long time, and I'm very, very connected to the team up there, which, as you can imagine, is needed with my type of work. I need to know the engineering department and the design department and whatnot. So I mean, we're good friends. I mean, we talk about our kids often. So that's how close I am with the engineering department at XL Homes. So,
Well, I guess that helps, though. I mean, to have that connection.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
If something goes wrong or something goes right, you've got people to talk to.
And with these projects, every job has a couple of things that are special to that particular project. So, absolutely, you need to have a good connection with the manufacturer. Absolutely. Yeah. But ironically, there are a bunch of manufacturers up there. But XL is the one that I use, and I think they're owned by Champion Homes now, who owns almost all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a shame that they own it, but it's a shame that they're buying all of them. So.
Yeah, but they've done a good job of letting the same people still basically run the factory.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to obviously oversee them, but a lot of the same people are still there.
So on a two-story addition, how many trucks is that typically?
Typically, it's 1 to 2, because sometimes there are parts that come onto the project. What I mean by that is like porches, front accessory items, and or the finishing components to the house. They can't all fit on the trailer sometimes, but typically on a 2-story off the back, it's 1 to 2 trucks. Mm-hmm. And then our bigger projects that are probably in the 12 to 1,600 square foot, they're probably in the 2 to 3 trucks.
Wow.
And we can go even more than that.
Wow. And so do you have a specific time of day that you like to have these come down the highway or delivered so that you can avoid most traffic? Do you just like in the middle of the night or?
No. Actually, I think there are times by which they can be on the highways, and they are typically after the rush hours.
Okay.
So you'll never see a big house coming down here at 7 to 8 a.m.
Nothing on the Cabin John Bridge at 8 o'clock in the
Not
morning?
in that time. They're typically coming down. They leave their facility super early to be here in the basically the midday the day before, and we typically set the following day. So they just it's about 24 hours that they're not in their actual place. They'll be on the street or something, and within that 24-hour period, they're set.
That's amazing. So, what are modular buildings made out of? Are they like wood, or is there metal in them, or?
Basically, yeah, they're all wood. There are a lot of structural elements that get put into these projects, but it's all wood. You can certainly, put steel into certain areas, but we try to stay away from that. It's just a little harder to work with and whatnot. But they're, basically everything that's in a stick build, the same sort of products go into ours as well.
The only difference is it's protected by weather. By the weather. If you're in the manufacturer doing it, it doesn't get rained on and snowed on and leaves falling and birds nesting on it. So
that is very true.
Do we still have swirly ceilings?
No, the swirly ceilings are gone. And they're taller, remember. We're not 7'4", 7'6", or whatever, but no, the swirly ceilings are gone.
Are gone. That's good. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you today. Is there anything you wanted to add to it that I may have missed that a consumer would need to know about prefab homes?
No, I mean, I think the main thing, like when you're talking about those swirly ceilings, when I first started this, there was a lot of, what am I getting, and so what I have to kind of tell people is that it's basically what you want. You can't pick your ceramic tile. You are going to get a ceramic, tiled shower for your master, because believe it or not, most of my projects, include a new master suite. Mm-hmm. And so, all tile is, what we do. It's not, one piece
plastic
and vinyl floors and, as you said, swirly ceilings anymore. So that's the biggest thing I would love people to understand, is that it's exactly what you want. And it's the sky's the limit.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Well, that is good to hear. And like I said, if you're looking to add on to your home or you're not able to find the perfect home, now you know you can buy the almost perfect home and just add on to it with modular building. So that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
having me.
Absolutely.